Alrighty, g'day guys, and welcome back to week 4 of the APA Little Cup Wi-Fi League. This week we are up against Zombie and his Victoria Victinis. Zombie's a very capable battler and quite a strong Little Cup battler in that, being around these showdown seasons for 2 seasons now, and just overall has a very strong team and knows the format quite well. So this will be a tough one for us, especially considering you look at his team. We have, he's got the Eevee, Torchic, Elekid, Talo, Buizel, Boltoy. He also has a Dupiter, which he elected to leave at home. And those were the main threats that I was worried about in terms of prepping for his team. There was things like a Ralts or a Skidoo. He's got Caterpie as well, which, I mean, it's a Caterpie. But yeah, so he did bring probably the most threatening things to my team. Not ideal for me, but we'll get on with it. So getting into the team that I brought for this week, we're starting out with Crush, Tortuga. This is a standard Sturdy Juice set. We're rocking Adamant this week, because there were quite a few things that if we were Scarfed would outspeed Tortuga if we went Jolly, or a speed boosting nature, because like you look at the likes of Torchic after a speed boost, that thing does well. If it gets a speed boost and then it can protecting it a second, then it outspeeds us. Elekid Scarf, Talo Scarfed, Buizel Staff, they all outspeed us. So I just went with enough to outspeed all his non-scarfers, and it was a Shell Smash with Aqua Jet for a bit of priority. You notice that things like Talo, the Torchic, the Elekid that I mentioned all could outspeed us, were quite frail. Rock Slide, because that hit a good number of his team. And then I've got Ice Beam there because he does have a couple of threats that could be very physically defensive to wall Tortuga. For example, like the Baltoy could be a physically defensive set, and since our only water move we're running is Aqua Jet, I figure Ice Beam gives us that nice chance at 2-hit KOing, or even one hit KOing after we get the boost. So pretty standard Sturdy Juice stuff, nothing too crazy there. Up next we have Motorhead, our Eviolite Sandygast, and this mon was EV'd very specifically this week. It was EV'd to be able to take a Buizel's Z waterfall, because I figured that Buizel's a physical Buizel set can actually run through and sweep me. You look at the likes of it, it gets Brick Break, Pawniard's gone, it gets all it has to do is run like Hidden Power Grass, and Tortuga is way out of there. Streamline, whose Wimpod is not going to live too many hits, and if so can't do too much back. Slugma there is going to get blown away by a water move, and something like an Ice Punch or a strong water move can blow away Duo, especially if he gets rocks up. So this was EV'd with our water compaction ability. Yes, it may seem weird that we've got a ground type being our water check, but with water compaction, if we click recover on his waterfall or Z waterfall, if we click it on his Z waterfall, we get up to about 60%, and then we can live another one, and with our ability we get +2 defense, and we are now checking this thing all day. The special defense was there left over. It was as a bit of a check to Elekid, being able to take a hit from Torchic. It was also, this EV spread also worked out nicely that we went 2-hit KO'd by an EV's Bite, which was nice because this is our our normal immunity on the squad. Earth Power, Ancient Power did great damage to everything. Stealth Rocks were very nice against his team. As you can see, he's got the Talo, the Torchic, and the Dupiter in the back that were all weak to them, and some chip is always nice. And then we're just rocking that Evilite. So this was really probably the most well-built, well, probably not the most well-built, the most thought went into this mon on the squad. Now, the next mon we have here is we've got a bulkier Pawniard. The speed didn't really help me anything this week, because one thing if you notice about Zombie's team, his speed tiers are either really amazing, like super fast mons, or he's just got slow things that I don't need speed to outspeed. For example, like the Boltoy. unless it's running max speed, which I didn't see it. So I'm actually running the black glasses on Pawniard this week with knockoff, sucker punch, swords dance, and substitute. He did not have a dark immunity, so I thought about going scarf, but I figured no. He has ways around scarf. Pawniard, as I said, he's got some amazingly fast mons. And so I ended up going black glasses. That way it allows me to sucker punch if I can. I didn't need any move that wasn't dark type, so I went with dual dark moves plus sub SD. If I can get a sub against something, that gives me a free knockoff and a whole lot of damage against something else. Or a sucker punch as they try to break my sub and I can claim a kill. So Pawniard was looking to do the finest of work this week. Next up we have Rosie here, rocking the Eviolite set this week, and we have Flame Body with Earth Power, Recover, Lava Plume, and Memento. Now this was a bulky Slugma, so we're rocking with max HP and max special defense. This was meant to take on the Torchic. This was our Torchic check always. Earth Power does a whole lot, and Torchic's coverage isn't the greatest. To be able to where it can hit Slugma with super effective damage. It can get Rock Slide, and that's why we've got the rest in defense to be able to take a non-invested Rock Slide or a little bit of invested Rock Slide. It also helps against the Elekid. Flame Body can be a last-ditch effort against like an Eevee going for Quick Attack or going for Bite. And then Memento was to be able to just get something in and set up for free, because we kind of needed to set up and get a bit of speed on something or get an SD with Pawniard to be able to just match some of Zombie's faster mons. One of these setup mons was Agility Doduo, and I'm rocking Adamant Doduo this week with Brave Bird Return and Drill Peck. Berry Juice is to be able to take a -2 hit from something, get back up to full, and then give me a few more Brave Birds so that I don't die to recoil as quickly. With the 19 attack, flying spam is great against his team. Return is always also very nice. I went Return over Thrash this week because he does have some mons that I really do need to be clicking Brave Bird against. And then Drill Peck was there as a third stab because I didn't really need any other moves, and it was there in case I didn't really want to take the Brave Bird recoil. To try and keep out of range of, say, a Quick Attack from an Eevee or something like that. And then, last but not least, we are rocking our standard Wimpod set. This mod has actually come a lot more this season than I thought it would. His removal is Talo and Boltoy, as you can see. Boltoy is, as we've done many a times this season, we've got our Spin Blocker here. Boltoy can't do anything to Motorhead, our Sandygast, so that's going to be... that thing won't be able to remove. And if Talo, with how frail it is, if it clicks Defog, it's basically dropping, because that thing is a huge problem for my team. Nothing really takes 2 hits from it, not even if it's Life Orb Boom Burst or Flame Orb Facade sort of thing, or Flame Orb like Guts Brave Bird. Like, nothing takes 2 hits from that, except maybe Tortuga, and Zombie will probably know that, and I expect maybe a Brave Bird, Facade, Hidden Power Grass, and Quick Attack, maybe something along those lines on his Talo. So if he takes off one of those moves to defog, then it's going down, and I'm quite happy trading, getting rid of spikes and that for the Talo. So yeah, that's the team. We're now going to get into the battle. So I shall get this started here. And looking at the 6 he brought, it was a 6 I expected, but that didn't make it any less scarier. Some teams like this, you can know what they're bringing, but it still doesn't make it any less scary. As he leads with Eevee, and I decided to lead with Crush because I figure I can Shell Smash on something and get a lot of damage. As his Eevee goes for a Toxic, and automatically I'm like, this is not an offensive Eevee, and that is great. So Crush gets poisoned here. It's not a huge deal. I go for a Shell Smash. I am now very much physically offensive. I got my Ice Beam that I can click. So yeah, we're in a great position here. I can just go freely for the Stab Rock Slide and do a lot of damage to this Eevee. That's easily a 2-hit KO. He goes for a turn, And you'll see that even though this isn't an offensive Eevee, that did 10 damage with a resisted return. That just shows how strong this thing is. It does put us in Berry Juice range, however. So that means we are back up to full. He goes for a quick attack, a bit of a last-ditch chip. That does 4, which just... This Eevee is ridiculous. I'm very glad it's out the way. So Eevee goes down to a rock slide, and we claim our first kill. And so we are up 5-6 at this point. He goes into Baltoy. This immediately tells me it's Sash, because there's no way. I decide to go for an Ice Beam here, because that should always bring it down to its Sash. As it does, pops the Focus Sash here and gets the freeze. And I was like, please, maybe. As he stays frozen solid. And I'm like, I hate praying for hacks, but like, I got them. And now Crush clicks Aqua Jet, and we claim our second kill. And Zombie's a great guy and a good friend of mine, and I didn't want the hacks there, but I mean, when you're going up against a team this strong, you're not going to complain. He goes for the Protect. Doesn't really change a lot here, because that means I just die to toxic damage. As you'll see, yep, Crush drops to the toxic damage, unfortunately, and his Torchic is now in at +1. And there you go. So 2 goes off the layout, and I go into Rosie. Rosie is my check to this thing, looking nice and Slugmary, as he goes out into Talo. It's shiny Talo. As I go for an Earth Power, hindsight, I should have gone for a Lava Plume there, because that was not doing too much. And as I said in the team builder, I am staying in with whatever I have, and I am clicking a move against this Talo. And as you can see, that only does 10 damage, and Rosie does what Rosie does best and burns the Talo. That does about 60%, pops the Berry Juice, so that's probably why it wasn't a 2-shot. I was expecting Life Orb on this Talo. But yeah, so he goes for another Boom Burst here, as I decide I'm going to click Recover. Ideally, I need this Slugma nice and healthy for that Torchic, because Torchic's looking kind of scary at the moment, because if you look at my team and you look at fire coverage, it does a whole lot. As he switches out of his Talo and goes into the Buizel. This thing is such a problem. I wish I clicked Earth Power or Lava Plume or anything here. Wouldn't have made sense to click Earth Power, but I recover and I get up to full. And he goes for the Waterfall. I was scouting here to see if he was physical or special. He is physical, and I get the flinch, and that is a real shame. I did click Earth Power there, hoping that I could get some damage off on this thing. Buizel is not the strongest of mons. As I go into Streamline here, and it is a speed tie, I do believe. Actually, no, Buizel does outspeed, so it was always going to be Streamline was just in here to take a hit, give me a switch into something, and I go into Pawniard here. And this is the point where I don't know what I was doing. I should have clicked Sucker Punch there. I should have 100% clicked Sucker Punch, and I clicked Knockoff. And that meant I threw away my Pawniard. So Pawniard is down, and this is the moment that we prep for. This is a Buizel going for a Z Waterfall against our Sandygast. And we know that we can live this. We click Shore Up. It should be right as rain here. You'll see the Hydro Vortex does come out. I did confirm with Zombie after the game that this was Z Waterfall. He didn't have anything crazy in the back. And I'll just let you see what happens. A crit. And that, as you can see, will seal the game for us here, because Doduo does not outspeed this thing. He's packing the Ice Punch. That's going to just clean us up. So Doduo goes down. Wimpod can't live another hit. I think maybe if he, for some unknown reason, does it, but even so, a skull burn wouldn't even save us here, because Slugma is at such low HP. Wimpod goes down, and it is Rosie against the world. This waterfall is going to clean us up, wasting no time here. And unfortunately, that does mean that a misplay on my end, not clicking Sucker Punch, a flinch on Slugma, meaning we don't get a little bit of Earth Power Chip, and then a crit on Sandy Gas do mean that we lose this one 4-0 to Zombie. I mean, we did get a bit of hacks on our own end, freezing that Boltoy, giving us another kill. But at the end of the day, it's a game we play. I'm not too disappointed. As I say, I'm having a lot of fun playing Little Cup Wi-Fi. GG to Zombie, even if those hacks didn't happen. I mean, look at the 4 mons he's still got left on the screen. Torchic, Talo, Elekid, and Weasel. Like, those are 4 menacing mons. And yeah, so that takes us now to 2-2, I do believe. It's not a horrendous record. It is not ideal. We were number 1 in the power rankings, and now we're sitting very much mid-table. Next week we do play... I have absolutely no idea who we play next week, and that's not good because I've already played this battle. But yeah, so I will see you back here next week for our week 5 game, hopefully aiming to go 3-2 and get a couple of wins back together, put us back into playoff positions. But for now, guys, I'm out. See ya.